Welcome back to the last episode of the UTMB 1 More K Kopi Tiam. I know you guys been waiting for already a day now. Sorry we didn't update you yesterday. Hey Ned, how are you doing in Los Angeles?
I am good. I have run on the East Coast. I have now this morning just ran on the West Coast, and it makes me feel one day, even though I flew from East to West, one day I'm going to run from East to West. So I'm feeling good and full of ideas. And you?
Wonderful. I'm good. I also drove back today 10 hours from Chamonix to Western Germany. I had a shakeout run. I have now beautiful 0% German beer, which is doing very fine. So let's dig into the last 2 days at UTMB. Again, I couldn't record much yesterday or on Friday because I was busy crewing Valentin. We will come to the story in a few minutes. Let's kick it off with this crazy UTMB. I feel like this year was special. I feel like waking up in the morning on Saturday realizing things have changed overnight is pretty impressive. But again, before we go there, let's go to Friday to cover CCC because we have not really covered that part yet properly. CCC was also quite a race. Ned, what did you take away from the CCC race?
I think there's this idea that what I took away was this before the results, the amazing ability of the UTMB franchise to make every race exciting, unbelievable, fully covered. It didn't feel like a baby race or less of a race. Certainly as a viewer, that's the one thing I took away. The excitement was high. The crowd still looked great. There was lots of people at the finishing. The coverage was amazing. That UTMB, for all the crap people give it, sometimes I give it, good on them. They have created a week-long series of races that, of course, UTMB is the shining star, but the other ones don't feel like some second-rate citizen. They feel amazing, and it was great to see.
I mean, I can't agree more. I think CCC in itself was a very big race, and I almost feel like because it's during the day on Friday, it takes a lot. It gets a lot of attention, and it might be more exciting than the 100 miler. The news are Hayden Hawkes wins it. Kind of not a surprise. It was very fun watching him because he played some tricks on his opponents. He was basically skipping an aid station and hence was confusing people. He was running a fairly smart race. Peter Frano coming second, and I actually had a chat with him after his race or next day. Super nice guy from Slovakia. He is a sky runner, and so he was really benefiting from that sky running ability and overtaking Adam Peterman on the last downhill. So he came second, and Adam Peterman came third. Couldn't really walk on the ceremony on Saturday. I think he was destroying his legs. And yeah, so I think those were the first three men. And then on the female race, which was very exciting as well, we had Toni Mccan kind of making it way all the way. I think she was battling a bit with Martyna, the girl from Poland, who looked very strong throughout. And they were switching positions, I think, a few times back and forth. But Toni Mccan then crushed it at the end and did come into finish line as a first with 12 minutes, I believe, difference to Martyna, the Polish, who came on my radar. But number 3, number 4 were really hardly fought out. It was between the German Rosanna Buchauer and, of course, our Vietnamese woman Hao Ha, who, unfortunately came fourth because Rosanna really then played it very smartly at the end and did a very strategic race and coming third. Hao Ha finished in 12 hours 36, which is 2 minutes faster than last year. But again, fourth, just like last year. But again, congratulations to such a strong performance, being the best Southeast Asian runner in the entire UTMB this year, including CCC. So exciting race. Heather Jackson finishing up on the fifth. She was dropping quite a bit, but yeah, it wasn't any danger for Hao Ha. So I really followed the females race quite closely. Quite exciting on the CCC course.
It's so good to see. I mean, it's a pity for how hard just missing the podium. So good to see, but I love Hayden Hawkes. And if you hear him interview, that guy runs with soul. I love, he's like Zach Miller. He's just running beautifully. I love following that dude. I'm so happy to see him win. He really, to me, feels like one of the original, even though he's a younger guy. He has the soul of the origins of the sport to me. Listen to him on Free Trail. We have to get him on one day. I would love to chat to that dude. So happy to see him win.
Yeah, he's a character. Definitely has personality, and again, the way he raced, you can tell he's quite special. So I think that's exciting, and of course, at the same time, CCC finished on Friday. UTMB pretty much was starting 6 p.m. So going over to UTMB, I mean, what a race! You first and foremost, the start is of course always iconic with the music playing and so on and so on. Anyone who hasn't watched it, go online, YouTube, look it up and check it out. Then you go to the first kind of checkpoints in Saint-Gervais, and then of course Les Contamines, where Saint-Gervais is not crewed and Les Contamines is crewed, and so I was spending most of my time in Les Contamines waiting for Valentin. And I'm telling you that it's absolutely crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy what's happened on the first 3 hours of this race. I have not seen anything like this in my entire life before, where a tiny little sleepy alpine skiing town turns into this mega festival of tens of thousands of people, like, supporting the runners. And I was only in the Les Contamines, which is a bit further up. It's harder to get to. Saint-Gervais, where you can get it too easily. I heard and I saw images. It's absolutely insane. So the runners coming there, kind of first time they see people again after Chamonix, and then even going up to Saint-Gervais, Les Contamines, where they meet us as a crew. It was insane. I meet Valentin. He will look happy, all good, and I leave, of course, his race to himself. I don't want to comment too much on it, but all good. Just being the checkpoint was fascinating to see that energy coming in and out, to see the runners coming in and out. And they looked super surprised themselves how much the atmosphere kind of was electric. Many were just looking at, like, almost bewildered what's going on, because they couldn't believe their own ears and eyes. And Valentin said as well, like, it was just so loud. He didn't believe what's going on. And only then further up, when they were crossing over to Italy, that's where the night started, and that's where it calmed down, and that's when they were onto the way to Courmayeur, the next crewed checkpoint, which all the runners had then the next cruise. But I think that was just something I can only recommend anyone just go to those checkpoints, because the energy in the evening there with the sun setting, it's absolutely amazing.
And it is so great. It's this is what I like to hear. Even though it seemed, the UTMB gets crap, it comes back to the point. They put on a great product. It's a fantastic. Everyone tells me it's amazing. The product's great. The atmosphere is amazing. That's what matters. In the end of the day, that's what matters.
I hear you, but I think in this case, it wasn't UTMB. It was just the French, to be very straightforward. I think most of the people are French. They traveled to this mountain town. The UTMB, of course, had some stuff there, but there wasn't much UTMB going on. It was just like almost like UTMB tourists, I would call them, or spectators, who really made it something very special. It was so cool to see it. Of course, UTMB is around it, and there are some screens and so on, and not even music. It's just all the villagers who put up the show there. They're realizing this is a great way to attract UTMB tourists and make something for them. I think that was just fascinating.
So good to see. I could tell your texts that were coming in, the excitement, the video you sent me of Valentin, everything there. It was. I'm so happy that you got to see that experience of what it was.
So anyone who wants to really have a push, go try to get into one of the checkpoints as a crew, because those checkpoints are just the best. Like, it is literally like Formula One, where you have a few minutes, few seconds to just change the vest, change the water, get into the food. It was so exciting to do this for Valentin and also the other runner from Vietnam, Quang Chan. It was so cool. It just, you feel like you are part of it. And I think, even though I couldn't run, which is, you also want to run, of course, but even being on a checkpoint was good enough. Anyway, the race changed dramatically overnight, and going to bed, you have Jim Wormsley in the front, you have Mathieu Blanchard, Tom Evans, Timo Olofsson, long list of great runners going to the night, and you wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning and realize, oh my God, everyone has dropped out, and the race has changed completely. That confused me, and I had to spend like 20 minutes catching up with on the news what happened. And then you have this French guy, Vincent Bouilla, crushing it on the front, followed by another French guy, Baptiste Chazagne, followed by Ecuadorian Joaquin Lopez. And what's happening? And that, I think, where the race got really cool and the whole UTMB story changed. And remember, Ned, when we said there might be an upset this year? I think there was a big upset. I think that was a big surprise to pretty much everyone out there. What do you think of that change and race?
I'm so happy. Nothing against Jim Walmsley and Tom Evans and all of these guys. These guys are awesome. But to have a dude who works in the Hoka factory just come out and crush it, that's what trail running's about. That's the deal. That's what it should be. Random dudes killing it who we don't know. I'm a gambling person. If you could have picked that top three, that's like 1,000-to-1 shot. Like, there's just no way you're picking that top three. Loved it. Don't know much about this dude, but as you say, he doesn't have, he doesn't have socials. He's just an engineer in a factory. The surprise when he finished, the look on his face, gold. Absolutely adored it.
I listened to his post-race interview on Free Trail, and anyone, again, who's curious about Vincent, I really recommend listening to it. Great guy. In summary, he's basically a local from Annecy, works for Hoka, is not sponsored by anyone. He wants to have his freedom, he says. He doesn't want to run for anyone. He just wants to run and have fun. He looks like someone who just is just having a good time. He's very good friends with Jim Walmsley, so at Courmayeur, when Jim dropped out, he basically said, all right, Vincent, over to you now. Now you're first. Take it from here. Maybe a symbolic moment for trail running. Who knows? I think we'll yet to see. But I think that, again, the French, of course, are super happy about two French guy winning. Pretty impressive. I, as a German, was very happy about Hannes Namberger coming fourth. Also very impressive. And, of course, then Ludovic Pommeret comes fifth. It's impressive what this guy is able to do.
I think the French are happy to see the French win. And again, so great to see a dude from the factory. This is the soul of trail running. Some random dude comes out. So I'm happy that a random dude wins. The French are happy. You're happy as a German. And for all the old people, Ludovic Pommeret, let's go. This dude is the man. I mean, as I said he was 119. I correct, he's 49. To be out and crushing it in this sport, so good.
He's a legend. As well as Katie Scheid. I mean, Katie Scheid, what a race. She leads from the beginning. When I was at the aid station in Les Contamines, she was basically within the man's pack. I couldn't believe my own eyes how fast she was. Apparently, she said she was exactly the same splits as 2 years ago, so the man this year must have been slower than 2 years ago. Who knows? But in any case, she pretty much was number one the entire race. Leads it and finishes number one. Looks pretty fresh at the end. Always smiles. Super happy. Ruth Croft coming second. I think she was on your list and you bet on her. Marianne Hogan comes third. And then Lin Chen from China comes fourth. Yeah, but Katie Scheid with a course record in 22 hours and 9 minutes. Crushing, I think, Courtney's by around 20 minutes. So that is just, that's so impressive.
It sets up the big smackdown. Katie and Courtney, it's a big race. Let's go.
That's really a wrap. I think I just wanted to highlight one more stat I saw online. That is this year's DNF rate was 63%, which is in line with most of the last 10 years, which is always around 63, 65, 68. So while it seems like many of the elites dropped out, actually many dropped out, decimated the field, but the average runner didn't drop out that much. So it is quite interesting how it seems to me the race of DNFs, but then in average, actually it's just as many DNFs as the years before.
Hold on. You didn't say that the DNF was 63, did you?
Sorry, the finisher rate was 63%.
So hold on, are we saying that 37% dropped down?
Correct.
Okay, we need to do a whole episode on this. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's interesting. I earlier heard a comment from another German trail runner who came, I believe, top 10 on CCC. He said that he's a bit disappointed in some runners who seem to just sprint off at the first 3-4 hours to get the good images in and then drop out in DNF.
Yep.
And he was complaining a bit that the spirit of the sport might have changed.
Yeah, hold on. We need to do a whole episode on this. We need to break this down. This makes 37% dropout rate. That's just unbelievably disappointing. There's something wrong here. And I'm, in the olden days, Western States, the olden days of this race, dropout rate, I'm guessing 5%, 10%. This is, and look, I'm super happy that trail running is doing good, but people, suck it up. I'm sorry, and I'm going to tell you this: the 37% was with the young crowd. The 50-year-olds, I'm going to guess it's 5%. I'm going to say it's the young ones.
It's worth digging into the numbers there and seeing the age group parts there. But
I tell you what it's also worth digging in. 37%. It is not 37% at some small local trail race. It's not 37% at Hard Rock. It is not 37% is ridiculously high.
It was the same in 2015, by the way. So just giving you the idea that in again, it's pretty on par with the last 10 years. Right? It hasn't changed for the last 10 years. That's where the stats come in. Right? So UTMB always has a fairly 35, 37% dropout rate. A finish rate of 60 something.
Then again, my favorite sport in the world, backyard, has a 99% dropout rate. So I shouldn't talk too loudly. But listen, it's been so cool to do these shows. Sorry to listeners that my sound quality might have been crap, but I've been doing it from lobbies and different places. But Markus, so good that you were there. And as you mentioned, we have to chat about your thoughts and how trail running goes, how Lecker fits in. So excited to catch up on that with you, and so good that you gave us the real life reports from the trails.
Thanks, Ned. I'll continue a few more minutes to go through some more stats here, but please enjoy your time in Los Angeles.
I will do. I appreciate it. Everybody take care. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back to our regular soon.
All right, everyone. Now Ned is gone, and I am just here with you having another second isotonic beer, of course 0%. I just wanted to highlight a few more stats from this race. And of course, Ned is not here, but he might like to hear this, that you remember last episode, I think 4 or 5 episodes ago, we did a little game between Ned and ChatGPT guessing who might be the winner. Ned said Pau Capel, ChatGPT said Jim Walmsley. Well, none was right. It was Vincent. The biggest upset, ChatGPT said Germain Granger, and Ned said the weather. I think the biggest upset was a lot of DNFs and in the top elites runners and Vincent coming, of course. Live stream views, here we go. ChatGPT said 300,000 to 400,000 viewers. Ned said 125,000. If I did the math correctly, all of the different languages combined, so English, French, Spanish, Italian, Chinese as well, it was 1.7 million views of all live streams. 1.7 million views of live streamers over the whole course of the week. That's impressive. Also, we asked ChatGPT how many Asian runners will finish OCC, CCC, and UTMB in the top 10. There was no answer by our AI friend. Ned said 8 out of 40, and guess what? Ned was correct. We had one female finishing top 10 UTMB, Lin Chen. No male finishing UTMB. That's quite surprising. Jia Shengshen dropped out, and also Anna Lee and Fuja Zhang also dropped out. So we only had Lin Chen finishing. We had 2 females finishing CCC top 10. Hao Hao, of course, and then Ying Yan Tang. 1 male finishing CCC, Hu Hao Zhang. Pretty good spot as well. 1 female finishing OCC, Mia Yao. Already talked about her. And 3 males finishing OCC. So 8 runners in total from Asia in the top 10 across the 3 races. That is pretty good. I hope it will be better in the next few years. In general, thank you so much for joining us for this UTMB Kopitiam special. It was something unique. It was something we tried out to keep you more up to date what's happening on UTMB. We could have done more, could have done less, but it was a start. Please reach out to us to give us your feedback. Please reach out to us to let us know what you like to hear more athletes, more business stories, more insights, more backgrounds, more rumors. We want to cover more relevant news and information for you to you. On that note, we're going to have more episodes coming up as usual in the next few weeks, 1 at a time, 1 a week. And we're going to dig deeper into many athlete and business stories from mostly Asia, I would say. Thanks so much and take care.